Hi everyone, my name is Penn and I'm graduating with an ICS major, Markets and Management certificate, and a Spanish minor. To start, I want to address the elephant in the room, or in the air. If any of the parents in the audience are anything like mine, when your children informed you of their declared major, the conversation probably went something like this. Hi Mom and Dad, having the best time, please tell the dog I miss her. I officially declared my major, it's International Comparative Studies. To which they replied, that's great honey, congratulations. We're so, so proud of you. You amaze us every day. What's International Comparative Studies? Fair enough. Unequivocally, my favorite thing that I've done, or community that I've found at Duke, the ICS major is nothing if not an amazing conversation starter. So parents, hopefully by the end of everyone's speeches, you all leave with a truly detailed picture of what 4 years at Duke and ICS really looks like. I mean, what better day than this, the day of your child's graduation, to finally demystify the iconic major to which they accredit their worldly collegiate competence at the grown-ups table. With its broad and interdisciplinary nature in mind, how can I sum it all up? And more importantly, what is the answer to the so what question that lingers at the end of each academic journey? What are the larger implications for what we've each individually accomplished, and why are we, or our future communities, better for it? Due to its non-determinate nature, nearing graduation as an ICS major is not only a liberating feeling, but it's also a somewhat overwhelming one. There is no roadmap. It demands independence. We're walking away with a world of knowledge, and it is up to us to spin it accordingly wherever we take our professional interests. Funnily enough, I actually wrote my Why Duke about ICS way back in 2013 during the pure unadulterated terror that is early application season. I had received the non-negotiable instruction to never, ever, ever write your Why Duke about basketball, and to please don't mention the Lemurs. They know. When admissions director Dean Gutentag visited my high school, he whipped out a huge paper guide to every class, major, minor, certificate, and focus at the university. Leafing through its pages, after I told him a little bit more about my interests, he said, you know, I'm really all about this major called International Comparative Studies. I think it's one of the more important things we're working on. I met a few of their students recently, and I couldn't believe my ears. ICS kids are onto it. They're not just smart, they're well-rounded and smart. I was absolutely sold. He was right. There's a difference. Just being smart is like trying to build a city with a toolbox that has 30 hammers, one type of screwdriver head, and no nuts, bolts, or screws. You'll build something, it might even be great, but if you want to build a city, it just won't cut it. I wanted to be smart and well-rounded, to have the tools to build something dynamic one day. My Why Duke essentially poured out of my fingers after finding ICS. Fast forward to today, and here I am speaking at our graduation. Thanks, Gutentag. So, I won't speak for anyone, but I have a hunch that if I were to ask the rest of my peers to give me 3 words to sum up what actionable things they feel like they're taking away from ICS, most of us would have included the word perspective. Perspective. What is that? At face value, it strikes me as one of those words that have lost their substance in the nebulous mess that is millennial language. When you hear someone use the word perspective nowadays, it feels trite and sometimes even empty. Nevertheless, opinions are plentiful, but true perspective, despite its hackneyed rhetorical use, can feel oddly hard to come by, even when every platform is so incredibly saturated with information. ICS has helped me sift through the noise. I've said it once, twice, 100 times, and I'll say it again. I've never felt so aware, and as Gutentag put it, well-rounded. Our toolboxes are diverse, they're full, overflowing even. That's what perspective does. Perspective demands humility and shows us that despite the fact that we are all the lead roles in our own life movies, we are not at the center of the universe, and what we think we know for sure today might change tomorrow. Perspective demands discomfort. It demands you to welcome it even. We live in a world that allows us to shield ourselves from contrasting opinions and to mute other worldviews with the click of a button. Perspective means throwing away the blinders. 9 times out of 10, if it makes you uncomfortable, that means you're on the right track. Perspective demands that we are critical and that we untangle our internalized assumptions, hinging on systemic binaries and institutionalized paradigms. Perspective demands distance and range, but it also demands intimacy and depth. And finally, perspective demands that we recognize that we can never, ever truly put ourselves in someone else's shoes. But that does not mean that you do not try to get as close as possible. And so it is also sharing burdens and bearing the weight of struggles outside of your own. And with all of these demands, perspective yields a blueprint and shows you exactly where you stand. Next year, I'll be working in entertainment, media, and tech in LA, which is admittedly the belly of the beast from an ICS perspective. I love media and technology, though. I'm fascinated by innovation and its potential to bring people together, to share experiences, and to facilitate the exchange of ideas. I'm fascinated by the way it crystallizes cultural and socio-political climates, and that one day it will be a relic of history. That being said, I'm also incredibly aware of the hegemonic nature of media and technology, and that the global exchange of images and meaning-making is in no way a level two-way street. Our ICS background means that we cannot help but have a critical reaction to a seemingly neutral motion picture or commercial when its damaging tropes seep through the cracks otherwise undetected. It means that before celebrating a piece of innovative hardware, we might first see it for its skeleton of globally sourced parts and assembly, and subconsciously hear Mathers' voice reminding us of the permanent footprints of capitalism and neoliberalism and colonialism. Us ICS students question who is writing whose history, and we try to never take things at face value. I want to try to avoid passivity, to always thoughtfully engage, and to help lead influential industry platforms in the right direction. ICS comes with you everywhere you go. Perspective has its roots in the classroom, yes, but it continues to grow the more you water it, climbing the walls and shooting through the windows like untamed vine. Here at Duke, its seeds were sown with every new piece of theory, every discussion, every essay, and with the countless connections between disciplines made. Outside of Duke, nothing has to change apart from our backdrop. Tending to and maintaining the gift of perspective that ICS has given us will have its challenges, but as I said, our toolboxes are full, overflowing even.